Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Game Guru Jr., a channel dedicated to making toys, games, crafts, and general novelties for babies upwards to tweens. Now I know a lot of the parents out there, both mothers and fathers, have teen girls, or I should say tween girls, who love Justin Bieber. Or you parents out there, you would love to, create something for your daughters who love Justin Bieber, but you know the memorabilia and all that stuff costs a fortune. So this is why the homie Game Guru is here. I'm going to show you guys how to make your very own Justin Bieber standee. For $10 or less, you can make a standee for your daughter showcasing Justin Bieber, and she will love you to bits. Or at least she should love you to bits for all the effort that you're putting into making a Justin Bieber standee for her. Okay, now the process in which to make our Bieber standee is actually quite simple. This image that you're looking at here, this is just a downloaded image that I got of him, and I was able to just crop out the background and just leave it as Justin Bieber. And what we need to do is take the smaller image and blow it up to this image here, which is the larger image. This one's actually 2-spec, meaning that it's his full height. So all I did is I just changed the dimensions to, I believe, 5'5", and so this image right here is 5'5", so his full height. Now what you see with these blue lines crisscrossing here, what I did is I want to be able to print this out on different pieces of paper and then piece it back together again. I could actually print it out just like this as a giant poster, but that's going to cost upwards of $80, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. I want this to cost like maybe $5, $10 max. So what this is right here is just a plain opened up file of 11 by 17. It's not even a file, it's just 11 by 17 tabloid sized paper. I used a marquee tool if you have Photoshop, so I created this square here. You can see it moving around. And what that does is, if you see over here, and I'll just move it over here, you can see that I can use this marquee tool to set up 11 by 17 all across this image. And in actuality, it works out perfectly that 8 of them fit in this image. And what I do is I actually make them overlap. So I'll just blow this image up a little bit. Again, let me just grab this. And so where you can see this square, that's an 11 by 17 piece of paper. And so I set up the guidelines where the paper meets the edge. And then instead of just putting it edge to edge, I overlap a little bit because I want to be able to glue. So the glue is going to go here and here. So I'll show you again. This is one sheet. This is another sheet. So this area here in the middle, between each blue line, that is where the glue is going to go, and I'm going to overlap each image. So I'll give you a sense of what it looks like after I set up the 11 by 17 of each section of the main image. This is what it looks like. So here's his arm, the left side, the other side of his head. So each section has been broken apart to become this, and so when you print it out on your printer or at your local print and copy store, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 8 images like these. And then from there, we piece it together. I would say, as a suggestion, use glossy photo paper, 11 by 17 if you can. If you can't even print on 11 by 17 at home, you could go to a local print and copy store, or you could do this at 8.5 by 11, following the same example I mentioned with 11 by 17. You just have to break it down and have a little bit of overlap, and I'm sure you could do the same thing with a regular size paper, 8.5 by 11. So after you get back from the copy and print store, or if you print it off on your own home printer, you should have 8 11 by 17 images of Justin Bieber split up. And what you want to do is just lay it out together just to make sure that it does align and that the lines you put in there actually coincide with each other. So as you can see here, I just put the sheets together. Now of course you're going to see the white borders that we're going to cut off, but you could see that the picture does come together nicely. So now that we cut out that white border, as you can see, it fits together so much better now. So now that we know it works and they'll align together, the next step is gluing them. Now, as I showed you on the computer, the lines that we put here are incredibly important because this is our indicator to know where we're going to attach each photo to each other so it lines up perfectly and the image comes out alright. So it's only these parts here that we're putting glue on. Now, in order to glue it, you have different choices. You could use spray glue, glue stick, normal white glue, or double-sided tape. Spray glue, you only use spray glue if you really know what you're doing, because spray glue will give it the most even coat. It will not cause any bunching or bubbling once it dries, but with spray glue, once you spray it and you put the images together, they will not come apart. So if you make a mistake, pretty much you can't take it apart. You're going to have to rip them apart. So only use spray glue if you're really sure of what you're doing. I would not recommend glue stick because glue stick does not give a permanent adhesion. It'll actually start flaking in time. I would say use white glue, but be very careful on how you use white glue. Put it in very, very thin, maybe with a brush. Brush it on and then glue them together, because at least with white glue you could reposition it before it dries, so if you make any mistakes you could simply slide it or move it and get it to where you need it to be. But make sure you put thin amounts of white glue. And then double-sided tape, you could also use that. That's a great idea, but you need to give a lot of coverage, so pretty much all of this would have to be double-sided tape. But again, it's up to you. The main conclusion is that it adheres to each other and that the image is solid and all together. So now that we have it all glued together and it makes one complete image, before we glue this down onto the cardboard, we could do one of two things. We could either keep the image with the background that it's on, or you could actually cut out the image and then glue it onto the cardboard. Just to make this craft simpler, I'm just going to glue the whole thing down onto the cardboard and then cut out the perimeter of the square shape or rectangular shape around him, and that will become the standee. Because this is actually the full height of Justin Bieber at 5'5", I don't have cardboard that long, so I'm going to have to glue two pieces of cardboard, or at least duct tape them together to fit the whole length, and then using spray glue, I'm just going to spray Bieber and put him onto the cardboard, let it set overnight, and by then, the next step is actually putting the back onto it. Okay, so now we got the full life-size standee. I put the papers together, glued them, overlapped them to the best of my ability, but it came up pretty well, and I have it glued onto the actual cardboard. So the next step is to put a backing on it. And this is very simple. This is just an excess piece of cardboard. What I did is this part here will be glued onto the back, and then this part will be in the middle to let it stand. As you can see, I just put like a bit of an angled cut. So it would have been straight this way. I just put a little bit of an angle cut so it could actually be on a bit of a tilt. So the final look of this will be like this. So it'll stand by itself on its own using the cardboard backing. There you go, guys. The final standee. So I hope this is helpful to all the moms and dads out there who want to make that special Justin Bieber collectible or image for their daughters. And like I said, this craft costs all of $10 to do. It's a lot less expensive than the official merchandise that you would possibly have to buy for far more. And I said, this standee is at full size, his full 5'5" height. And as I said, hopefully that you guys have fun making this and that your daughters love it. Alright guys, so enjoy. I'm the homie Game Guru for the Game Guru Junior channel. More crafts are on the way, more creative ideas for, like I said, for babies and infants, up to young boys and girls to tweens. I'm going to come up with some crazy ideas, but I hope this helps you guys out. And as I said, girls, appreciate what their parents are doing for you. Because this craft, you're going to enjoy it, and then you can make some on your own. So, take care, all the best. Now I'm going to put this guy in storage because it's kind of freaking me out, and he needs to go with the rest of my inventions.